Hi guys, I'm Priyanka Chopra and you're watching VNN.
Hello everyone, my name is Pragya Devan and welcome to the Weekly Show, your one-stop destination for weekly, global and local affairs. Here are the top headlines for today. Canada announces new immigration plans for the year 2022 to 2024. For the first time ever, federal government in Canada invokes the Emergencies Act in response to truckers' blockade in Ottawa. Search engine giant Google plans big privacy changes. Inflation hits mark last seen in 1991. And Team Canada defeats US in women's hockey at the Olympics. The biggest news that came from Canada this week is from the Immigration Ministry, where the federal government made an announcement about the annual immigration level plans for 3 years to fill labour gaps in Canada. The federal government aims to welcome nearly 432,000 immigrants to Canada this year as a part of a 3-year plan to support a post-pandemic economic recovery. Canada will admit 431,645 permanent residents in 2022, followed approximately by 447,000 in 2023. Check our next report to know more. Federal government finally made an announcement about the annual immigration level plans for 3 years to fill labour gaps in Canada. Now, this is one of the most awaited announcements for immigration this year. And while there is so much confusion about these new immigration plans, in this video, I'm going to tell you major takeaways from yesterday's announcement and how it is going to affect you if you're one of those applicants who are waiting for their permanent resident status in Canada. The federal government aims to welcome nearly 432,000 immigrants to Canada this year as a part of a 3-year plan to support a post-pandemic economic recovery. Now, let me give you a year-wise breakdown. Canada will admit 431,645 permanent residents in 2022, followed approximately by 447,000 in 2023 and 451,000 in 2024. Now, what does this mean for immigrants? It is actually great news as the majority of the permanent resident spots, which is 56%, will be designated for immigrants coming to Canada to fill job vacancies this year. This 56% new immigrants will arrive under economic class pathways such as Express Entry, the Provincial Nominee Program and the Temporary to Permanent Resident Stream, also known as TR to PR, which was available in 2021. Second major takeaway from the federal announcement is that in the new immigration plan, PNP takes the center stage. The Provincial Nominee Program will be the main admissions program for economic class immigrants, with IRCC looking to land 83,500 newcomers via the PNP in 2022. Like previous years, this year too, candidates looking to enter Canada through Express Entry will not have much luck as IRCC has cut Express Entry admissions in half for this year. But the good news is that IRCC aims to return to normal Express Entry admission levels by 2024 when it targets the arrival of 1.3 million Express Entry immigrants. The levels plan seems to suggest that IRCC is temporarily reducing Express Entry admissions so that it can accommodate admissions under TR to PR program. IRCC is looking to land 40,000 immigrants in 2022 and the final 32,000 immigrants by 2023 under TR to PR stream. In the meantime, Express Entry draws are continuing on a bi-weekly basis and IRCC is processing Express Entry applications. Now, the family class will comprise 24% of admission targets in 2022, with 80,000 set to arrive under the Spouses, Partners and Children program and 25,000 set to arrive under the Parents and Grandparents program. IRCC has increased its PGP admission targets slightly by 1,500 additional spots compared with its previous plan. The remaining 20% of immigrants will arrive under refugee and humanitarian programs. This is an increase of about 5 percentage points compared to Canada's last immigration level plans, and it is likely a function of Canada looking to resettle 40,000 Afghan refugees over the coming years. Barring the very unlikely scenario that Canada will hold an election for the second year in a row, the Canadian government will be legally required to table its second immigration levels plan of the year by Tuesday, November 1st at the latest. This plan will replace the current plan that I just told you about. So if you think that you fall in any of the mentioned categories in this video, be ready with your documents, as you might have a fair chance to get your permanent resident status confirmed in the next 3 years. Let us know what you think of this video in the comment section, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Another news that is making Canada trend everywhere in the world is the federal government's decision to invoke the Emergencies Act for the first time ever in response to protests, blockades by truckers. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced that he is invoking the Emergencies Act for the first time in Canada's history to give the federal government temporary powers to handle ongoing blockades and protests against pandemic restrictions. The unprecedented deployment of the Emergencies Act gives police more tools to restore order in places where public assemblies constitute illegal and dangerous activities such as blockades and occupations. Trudeau says that the act will also enable the RCMP to enforce municipal bylaws and provincial offences where required.
This is not a peaceful protest. At the borders in different parts of the country, the blockades are harming our economy and endangering public safety. Critical supply chains have been disrupted. This is hurting workers who rely on these jobs to feed their families. Yesterday, the Ambassador Bridge was reopened between Windsor and Detroit. Our team and I have been working with Ontario and the City of Windsor around the clock. I want to thank the officers on the ground, including the RCMP, who played an active role. We now have a responsibility to make sure that the bridge stays open. With each illegal blockade, local law enforcement agencies have been acting to keep the peace within their jurisdiction. Despite their best efforts, it is now clear that there are serious challenges to law enforcement's ability to effectively enforce the law. On Friday, Ontario invoked a state of emergency to respond to the blockades. This was the responsible and necessary thing to do. Today, to continue building on these efforts, the federal government is ready to use more tools at its disposal to get the situation fully under control.
Google announced this week that it is adopting new privacy restrictions that will cut tracking across apps on its Android devices. Now, this announcement by Google comes after a similar move made by Apple last year that disrupted several firms' advertising practices. Google says that it is developing new privacy-focused replacements for its advertising ID, which comprises a unique string of characters that identifies the user's device. These digital IDs in smartphones often help ad tech companies track and share information about consumers. The changes could affect big companies that have relied on tracking users across apps like Facebook and its parent Meta. Google says that it will continue to support the current identifiers for the next 2 years, which means other companies have time to implement changes. Canada's inflation rate continues to rise at 5.1% and has reached its highest level since 1991. A report by Statistics Canada reveals that if volatile items like food and energy are stripped out of the numbers, the cost of living went up at a pace of 4.3%. But even that toned-down figure is the highest dating back to 1999. Grocery bills continue to rise quickly, with the price of food purchased at stores increasing 6.5% in the year leading up to January. Now, this is the fastest pace since 2009. The food isn't the only thing getting more expensive. The cost of accommodation also continues its ascent, as shelter costs rose by 6.2% in the past year. This is the fastest increase since 1990. In addition, gasoline prices increased by 4.8% during the month and are now 31% higher than they were this time last year. This week, real estate agents Praveen Arora and Sam Dillon addressed the common notions about real estate as a profession on the weekly show. They talk about where the money is and who are the key players in this business. They also talk about the importance of attaining coaching from mentors before venturing into real estate. Listen in. Hello everyone, you're watching Voice News Network. My name is Pragya Devan and today I am with Mr. Praveen Arora and Mr. Sam Dillon and we are going to talk about real estate. So today's topic is something which will excite you the most. But before that, let me welcome both of these people. Thank you for being on our show.
Thanks Pragya, thanks for having us over.
So, as I was talking, today's topic is very interesting because everybody wants to know about this. When we talk about real estate, we think that it's about money, it's about luxury. So these are the myths that we are going to talk about today in our segment. So first of all, tell me why real estate as a profession is so popular?
Pragya, this is a great question. If we really see in today's market, if you talk to anyone and if you go to any party anywhere, real estate is always the hot topic there. And the reason why real estate is a hot topic, first of all, this is the basic necessity of everyone. Everybody is directly or indirectly involved in real estate. That's the number one thing. And secondly, as you mentioned, there is a luxury and lot of money also involved in real estate. So everybody has more interest to make more money in real estate. So that's why people are very much interested to talk about real estate.
Do you want to add something there?
Definitely. See, another reason why everybody is attracted to this profession is the entry level is not that hard. You write a few exams, which depending on you takes 5 to 6 months, and you are a licensed real estate agent. So the basic requirement is grade 12, and the licensing process is very easy. That's why everybody is attracted to it. But the real fun starts after you get the license. So that's where the tricky part is. Not everybody that comes into real estate makes money. There has to, as they say, you have to pay your dues, So there are tricks of the trade which you learn over the period of time, or you learn when you get to the right mentor.
And this question is coming personally from me. Nowadays, we see there are a lot of series being made on real estate agents, and people show like there is a lot of glamour and luxury involved in this profession. And because you two are in this profession, I mean, for the longest time, so I want to know how glamorous this real estate business is.
Let me share some thought first about real estate. Pragya, in real estate, there are 3 different categories those people are involved in real estate. Number 1 category is the people, the salesperson, brokers, those are buying and selling real estate for the other people. That's the number 1 category. Number 2 category is the people, those people build the homes, they develop the land, they build the homes, they build the commercial properties or any kind of real estate. So they are the 2nd category. And the number 3rd category is the people, those people are buying those real estate or investing in those real estate. So there are the 3 type of different, people, those people are involved in the real estate business. Now, if we talk about buying and selling as a salesperson, as Sam mentioned, that is a different kind of, the skill set those people are working. It's a regulatory profession. They get the license and they do buying, selling for the other people. Construction part, development part, the developers are involved in the real estate, and the buyers and sellers or investors, those people are investing in the real estate, that is the 3rd part. All 3 different categories have different kind of involvement in this business, and rewards is also according to their involvement, what kind of involvement they have, and they are getting the reward according to that one. And if I talk about, let's say, if we say the salesperson and the brokers, they are just providing the services in the real estate industry. So they just get the commission according to their services, what services they are providing. So in this industry, they are the one, they just get paid by their services. and builders, those people does the construction, they are putting lot of their money and time in the development. So they get quite bit growth in this business in their money. And the buyer and sellers, they are buying and selling, and investors, they are also depends if they are long term investors or short term investors. So they invest in this business or in this industry, and then they make money according to that one. And I will come back to your question about the glamour. No doubt there is a lot of glamour in this business. The reason why there is a lot of glamour, because people, they wear nice clothes, nice cars, they have nice houses, but there is a lot of work, hard work behind that glamour. It's the similar, sometimes I say, the film industry, you see the people how they make money and how they live their life, but you don't see what they pay behind the scene to come to that level.
Exactly. I mean, when you guys come for the interview, I'll always see you cracking a deal on phone. So I know that, a lot goes behind the camera.
Right.
So this takes me to my next question, which is, again, $1 million question. Is there any money in this profession? Because everyone I meet nowadays wants to get into real estate, and their answer is, if I ask them why you want to get into real estate, they're like, because there is a lot of money there. So please answer this question. Is there any money?
As I said earlier, Pragya, no matter what profession it is, you have to pay your dues. If we take law, you go to school for a long period of time, you do your articling, and then you start making money. Same thing with medicine or any other profession. You have to put in your hard work in order to make, or break in that profession. Similarly, in real estate, as I said, getting license is very easy, but that does not empower you to make, a good living. That does not empower you to afford the luxury that you see everywhere and you just mentioned. For that, as I said, you have to work really, really hard. You have to have the proper training, proper guidance, and at the same time, you have to be very, very active and on the spot to first identify that this is a good deal, and then to work hard to, accomplish that deal. Because listing a property does not make you money. You make money only when that listing is sold. And it takes a lot of skill, a lot of involvement to sell that listing and actually get a paycheck.
So again, next question would be, like, you mentioned there are different categories in real estate. So who's making the most money? The listing agents or the people who are investing money into this business?
In any business, as Sam mentioned, Pragya, the person who makes more money, who put the more time and efforts in that business. If we really talk about, because we know quite few different developers, builders, they are doing very good in this industry. And if we see their background, they are in this business from last 40 years, 50 years, some of them even longer than that one. And they really work hard, they are holding the lands from years. They bought the land from years and they are holding it, and now they are putting a lot of time, effort and money in this business. That's how they are getting the reward in this business, because they already put a lot of time and energy. The same way, the people, those are investing in the real estate, they are also making good money in investments. They are putting their money in certain investments, and then they are holding those investments for a longer period of time, and they are also going through the challenges of those investments when they are investing. Sometimes we see people having 10 properties, 15 properties, but they are facing those challenges to maintain those properties. And sometimes, we see that they have the different type of challenges, some repair, maintenance, day and night calls, they all go through the different process. But as a salesperson or the broker working in the real estate industry, you also need to pay the price for that one if you want to do the more deals. Listing property, as Sam mentioned, or the buying property, you have to have a certain skill set, because if you just get the license and you think it will bring the money, that doesn't happen. The way we are saying, it's a lot of glamour. There is a quite bit hard work involved behind that glamour to get that glamour.
Yeah.
Just to put things in perspective, if we talk about Mississauga today, or Mississauga real estate today, the most talked about project is M condos, M1, M2, M3, M4 condos. But if you really see the history behind that, this is a project owned by Rogers Communication. They bought this land 50 years ago, and they'd been sitting on this land for 50 years, and all around them there was development going. And at that time, who knows, they maybe bought this land for less than $1,000 or whatever price. But today, if we talk about that, it's worth billions of dollars once all those buildings are completed. It will be in billions, So it takes time, it takes efforts, it takes strategy to make all this money in real estate, but it is possible.
And obviously, as you mentioned, a lot of hard work is required to be where you guys are, or, to establish yourself in real estate. So my question is, why, people nowadays want to get into real estate? Like, what is it that is attracting them so much in this industry?
See, the thing is this, Pragya, especially in Canada, if we really see, if we compare the service industry, it's a good service industry because the reward is good, and at the same time because it fulfills everybody's basic necessity. Everybody is interested in housing, and everybody is interested to buy some investments, right? As you saying, why everybody is interested, of course, there is a lot of money in this business. That's why a lot of people have interest in this one. But at the same time, sometimes you make money, sometimes you lose money also. There are cycles in real estate when you are not making money, property goes down too. But I know over the period of time, if you see, you always make money, but you have to put a lot of hard work and time for that one if you want to make money.
Yeah. So, then again, next question would be, people want to get into this business, right? But not everyone is skilled enough to be in this business. And I know it's a rat race, everybody is getting into it, so other people out of peer pressure or because of other factors, they want to get into this. But because you are in this industry since a long time, what are the prerequisites or like the important skill set that you think a person should have if he or she wants to get into real estate?
See, Pragya, not only the real estate business, what we learned in our life, in any area of your life, if you are persistent in that area of your life, either business, personal, financial, anything, if you are doing persistently things on that one, number one, you have to be persistent, and number two, you have to do the right things in that one. And if you are persistent and you are doing the right things, there will be so many times there will be challenges in the business. You may not be able to handle those challenges comfortably, but if you are persistent, you will go through those challenges. And that's how you will be maintaining your level all the time. The biggest challenge in our industry is this: people get the license and they don't get the right mentorship or the trainings, and they don't have the mentorship. Whenever they face any challenges, they just go out of the business because they don't know how to handle those challenges. So that's the biggest challenge in this industry. But as I mentioned, this is the most rewarding service industry, because if we compare with the other service industries, reward is very good in real estate. So that's why a lot of people are interested in this business.
Just to add to that, not to mention to what Praveen said, any other business you take, you have to have, first of all, a location for your business. Then you have to have inventory for, that's what you are going to sell to your customers. And then you need to bring in the customers to buy that inventory. When you are in real estate, you really don't have to have a very huge location. These days, everything is cloud-based. Secondly, you don't have to have an inventory or invest in inventory first and then sell it to. It's somebody else's property and somebody else is buying it. You are just in the middle to facilitate that deal because the buyer knows you and the seller knows you, and they both benefit from this arrangement. And in doing all that, you make money. This is basically the principle of real estate. As a middleman, that's what your reward is. Better of a middleman you are, better you get rewarded.
So, before we wrap up, what would be the mantra from your side to the viewers who are watching our show right now? If they want to get into real estate, what is that one thing, one advice you want to give them?
What I will say, first of all, Pragya, they should make up their mind 100% that they want to do this business, right? Because if they are not 100% sure, I don't think so they will be successful. Make up your mind 100% that's the business you want to do. And what we learned, if you don't enjoy this business, you won't be able to successful. Any business, if you are not enjoying that one, then you don't successful. And if you do decide that you want to be in this business, then pick the right platform where you want to work, and you should have a right mentorship. Because what you will be learning today and what you will be doing today, there are a lot of people, they already did that before and they know how to do it a better way. So if you have the right mentorship, they will teach you how to do with the right way. So that way you will come out of those, the cycles easily, because there will be up and down cycles in the business. But if you have that mentorship, you will be out of that one easily. And the last what I say, you have to be persistent in this business. Don't think this way, oh, let me try this business. If it work out, I will be in this one. If it doesn't work out, I won't be. It doesn't work that way. You have to be persistent in this business.
Yes.
Even though earlier I said that you don't have to have any inventory or anything like that, but when you are starting out, you have to treat it in a business-like manner. By saying that, what I mean is, come prepared that for first 6 months, you're not going to have any income. So, this is worst case scenario I'm giving. You have to be prepared that, you must have capital that will sustain you for first 6 months. There will be your personal expenses, there will be your professional expenses, there will be expenses for advertising, there will be professional fee expenses. So you have to treat it like a business, and you just whenever you set up a business, you come up with the capital first, and then you think about setting that. So real estate profession is also the same way, just you have to look at a different way of doing it.
Yeah, so you mean like just clearing the exam is not enough, a proper training is essential, and I think that's what you do with Team Aurora, right? You train these real estate agents to perform better in the industry?
Not only I train, Pragya, me and Sam are in the business for a long time. On the top of that, we have our coaches. We have different coaches in our team, and those are the other companies. They coach our team members and they tell us time to time, how we can do the things better way. And because continuous learning is very important in this business, and if you are learning all the time, it helps you to do the business right way, it helps you to be persistent in the business, and it also helps you to come out of those cycles in the market. Those are changing from time to time, so that way you are able to put your business in the momentum all the time, because when you are not in momentum, it's very difficult to stay in this business. That's the biggest challenge what we have in this industry.
Long story short, we can give you a roadmap to success, but it is up to the individual to follow that roadmap. But one thing is guaranteed: if you follow that roadmap, nobody can stop you from being successful.
That's
Absolutely.
true. So, to all the viewers, if you want some training, you want to learn more about this profession, you know where to go. You can find the details of Team Aurora at the bottom of your screen. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
Team Canada has won women's hockey gold after defeating the US at the 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing, China. The Canadian women's hockey team defeated the defending Olympic champions by 3-2 on Thursday. Canada's Sarah Nurse opened the scoring early in the first period before team captain Marie-Philippe Poulin added a pair of goals. Hilary Knight scored early in the second period for the US. Thursday's win over the US gave Canada its 5th Women's Hockey Olympic gold medal. Canada fell to the US at the 2018 Winter Games by 3-2 in South Korea. Canada has reached every final since women's hockey made its Olympic debut in 1998 in Nagano, Japan. Canada now has 19 medals at the Beijing Olympics, including 4 golds. This week, I chatted with BK Sethi, who's a successful entrepreneur in GTA, Ontario, and has earned a good reputation for himself in the food market. And as he completes 40 years in the industry, let's know about his tricks that helped him sustain in the industry. Listen in. Hello everyone, my name is Pragya Devan and you're watching Voice News Network, and today I have a very special guest with me, Mr. BK Sethi, who has over 45 years of experience in CPG, working with multinational brands in India, USA and Canada. And today we are celebrating because BK Sethi Marketing is completing 40 years. So a very congratulations for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, so we all have ideas, and most of us think that someday we will turn our ideas into successful businesses, but not many are able to do that. But you did it with BK Sethi Marketing. Tell me something about that, how it all started.
Well, I started my business, I went off on my own in 1982 because I wanted to do something myself, and I built up a business. My strength is in selling, and I said I can do some selling, buy some product and sell, but food was my basic interest because I come from a third generation in food business. But I was looking for opportunities in the food industry. I tried several things, several products, failed some, successful in some areas, but finally, what I saw during the 1980s, mid-80s, influx of immigrants coming from Asia, China, Vietnam, Korea, and all these people were looking for their own food products. And that gave me an opportunity to look into this a little bit more. And then the immigration started from India also later on. So what these immigrants basically are looking for, and I did some research and find out that these people are coming to this country, and food for all ethnics is the basic focus. In if they can get exactly their own brand of products or their own taste of products, they would basically will go for find their own products. So I thought that how about if we can, because my background is selling to the mainstream, not the ethnics. I've sold several products, but always into the mainstream. So I thought that this is a good opportunity to bring them into the mainstream retail supermarkets. Now, the only way we can bring them is bringing their food, which supermarkets is offering, and the brand of products they are used to, accustomed to buying back home.
Yeah.
So that is where I started putting together the things we need, a concept, a product, the brands, and what do they eat, and what are the events they eat those products.
And you are an immigrant yourself, and you mentioned that when you understood that there is a need of ethnic food here in Canada, you were negotiating about it with big brands and like Walmart and other famous brands. But as an immigrant, I want to know, how difficult was it for you to negotiate?
Oh, it was not difficult, because if your product is right and you believe in it and you're taking their interest in mind, it wasn't that difficult. But selling a concept of ethnic food which is brand new, which they do not understand, within the ethnic also there is complexity. It's not that easy, because even in Indian consumers or Indian immigrants, they come from south, they come from north, they come from west, they come from east. So they all have different eating habits. So that is why it makes it complex. And that is what I mastered. I understood the concept from Chinese to Vietnamese to Filipinos. What is the difference? What are the things? What are the brands they need? I collected the brands, the key brands, and put together into my portfolio, and then made a package, a concept, and went out and started selling to the mainstream supermarkets like Loblaws, Metro, Miracle Food Mart, Ashwas, and everything.
So when you were pitching your idea to them, did you give them certain examples for them to better understand what you were talking about?
Yes, of course, because I have to sell my concept first, then the product and the brands. So I sold them the concept that the increasing number of immigrants coming from Asia, Chinese, what they want their own food, their own brands. So the only way you want these 500,000, 400,000 people coming every year, you want them to shop at your stores. But why would they shop at your stores? Because you do not even carry their products. The one example, when I started, I got a call from Food City's store manager saying, BK, we have a lot of Chinese in the store and they don't buy too much. And I said, why? Because you don't have anything for them. So that's why they don't buy. There are too many people. This is the ethnic culture. They always shop in numbers. They all, the father, the grandfather, they all go together and they pick up what they want. You don't have their product. So you got to look into what they want. You got to understand that consumer, what brands, what products do they want.
So, because we are talking about business and, coming up with a concept and your wonderful journey of 40 years, we cannot leave failures behind. We have to talk about them. And whenever we start business, failures are an integral part. So, did you face any in your long career, I'm sure?
Well, of course you do. You do because you try 10 things, you succeed in 3. And 7 are failures. But you learn from your failures because if you put in tapioca starch, like an example in the Chinese food, tapioca starch, they use a little bit packet and they come in 120 packs, and the Chinese wholesaler will put in 120, and tapioca starch is all over on the floor, and it makes store look dirty, the skidding, the carts. That is not what Canadian mainstream style is. So there are failures, you learn from them. No, you don't do that. You put it in dried shrimps packages, but 24 or 48 packages, 3 days later they all smell. And the mainstream not ethnic Canadians would not shop around with a smell like that. So these are the things you have to learn. And you cannot have all Chinese signs in a store because mainstream customer would not like that because you do not understand that they are the one who are paying the bills.
Yeah. And, there are a lot of brands, popular brands in their respective countries, and you introduce them to Canadian market. So when you were pitching those brands to these big supermarkets, what was their initial reaction? And were they okay to have these brands?
Oh, yes, they will because they have been trying, or maybe a little bit, trying to get to the mainstream, but they did not know the mainstream itself. They do not know how to sell them. So what I offered them is that I can put your brands in a wider variety of distribution into the mainstream retailers. Ethnic retailers are, let's say, 500,000, but there is 1.5 million or 3 times or 5 times more mainstream Canadian consumers you can tap into. And the wider the distribution, you have a better opportunity. And I can give you that distribution and entry into the mainstream. And that was perfect for them. All the major brands, ethnic brands you see in the mainstream was introduced by me. Most of the brands in Italian, Mexican, Chinese, Caribbean, Grace, all these brands were originally introduced by me into the mainstream.
So I want to understand the process. How did you pick certain brands? Because you come from India, right? But you were dealing with brands from China, from Pakistan, from all other countries. So how did you pick it?
No. One thing is that I'm here for about 52 years now, and I think I did my research. I educated myself, accompanying with the Chinese big wholesaler, the Indian big wholesaler who told me don't put popcorn in it because there could be here, we don't mind, but you have to be careful. Similarly, Mexican and Caribbean, Jamaican, and I found out what are the brands, key brands these people sell. And they taught me, and I understood that, and that is what I made the package for.
And sir, when we were talking off the camera, you told me that you had to tell big brands here in Canada about our ethnic festivals so that they can take advantage of those festivals and sell ethnic products. Do you want to talk about that?
Right, okay. So now you have a product, I have pricing, and I have the packaging done and for their requirement. But what do you do for the consumer to know that we sell? You can put in whatever product you want, they don't know. So you have to do communication to these people. Now, you can't put an advertisement in the TV and think that it will come. No, what we thought is the most economical way is that every festival, cultural, social, or religious festival for the ethnic people majority involves in food.
Yeah.
Whether this is Eid, Ramadan, Diwali, Chinese New Year, Cinco de Mayo, whatever we have, it involves food. And festivities start with food, festivities finish with food. So what do they eat during Ramadan? They don't eat everything in the daytime, but they eat more at night and more in the morning. So that means consumption of food goes up. But what do they eat? I learned and I told them during the Ramadan, this is what you do. During Eid, what you do. During Diwali, no meat, this is what you should do. And Cinco de Mayo, yes, this is what they want. I think this is what I convinced them. The easiest way of communication is celebrating their festivities.
Yeah.
Or we call special events, yes.
Yeah. So, recently the federal government made announcement that now they'll be calling 1.3 million immigrants in the next 3 years in Canada. And how do you think the business is? How lucrative you think the food business is going to be when so many people from different countries across the world, they're going to come here in Canada?
Yes, of course, the ethnic food business will continue growing as long as our immigration continues. Like last year in 2021, in spite of all these restrictions, we had 410,000 immigrants. Now, 410,000 times 3 is more than New Brunswick. So you're creating one province in 2 years. Now, how can you ignore that consumer base? Your population is not growing. It's not growth, but the growth is coming from the immigrants. And what immigrants do they need is the basic need is they need food, shelter, and clothing. The food is the basic. First of all, they have to eat food. And they can't change the taste when they're coming into the country. They have to have their own kind of taste product, their own brands.
Yeah. And so you've been running this successful business consultancy of yours from 40 years. So what are the challenges these big brands face now, and do they contact you?
Yeah, they do contact me, and the challenges will continue because as the market grows, and so does the challenges. Market grows and it grows in a different direction. The challenges are that right now, when we started, it was first generation. They come in with the family, they hard work, they do that, they want to have a place to live. Now we are into second or third generation who are brought up here, born here, and brought up here and used to this culture, but they still want their own taste. So what are these people are looking for the second, third generation is not atta to gun, they make flour. They want convenience. They want ready to eat, but they want their own samosa in a package they can warm up, not a fresh samosa. So I think that is what retailers want to understand. What is the future? What do the second generation, third generation want? They are more educated. They are more health conscious. They read the nutrition labels, not like first generation.
And they also have no time to cook.
Of course, they are always short of time.
Yeah. So, before we wrap up, my last question to you would be, what would be your advice to the young entrepreneurs who want to get into food business on the same lines as yours? What advice would you like to give them?
First of all, I think it seems very easy, and most of the people I talk to who want to get into food business, everybody has to eat food. Of course, everybody has to eat food, and there are millions of people who are selling food. Though, what is the difference of your service or product? What is the uniqueness of your product that the customer or the retailer wants to buy your product. You can't say, listen, if it's a hot sauce, mine is a better hot sauce. Everybody's sauce is a better sauce. You have to have a uniqueness of product. You have to have a package of product, packaging, service, and promotion. So you do have to understand, and finally, try to understand the consumer and try to understand what a businessman, retailer who is trying to sell your product, why is he doing that? He is in a profit. If he's not making any money, you're out. So you make sure that your customer makes money, your consumer is happy, you provide them value, and you're successful.
I think it's a great advice, and thank you so much for talking to us. A very congratulations again for completing
Thank you.
40 years in this industry.
Thank you.
And I'm sure all our viewers will have a lot to learn from your journey and whatever information you gave in this interview. Thank you again.
And thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
This week, entrepreneurs Pramod Goyal and DP Jain talk about how to run a successful business in Canada in our series Business and You. Take a look.
Good morning, I am Sudhir Anand. Welcome to VNN Canada. We are here today to start a new segment which is called Business and You. We'll be talking about discussion in terms of what we need in the businesses today. As we all know, Indo-Canadian diaspora in Canada, they are involved with several businesses. It could be product industry or service industry. And we are very fortunate to have a large number of people associated with these industries. And today we have two gentlemen here with us, Mr. DP Jain, who's a CPA, and Mr. Pramod Goyal, who has a vast experience in the bank service, and he's a consultant with various category businesses. So I will introduce you, Mr. DP Jain, welcome on VNN, and Mr. Pramod Goyal. If you can introduce yourself to let the people know.
Good morning, viewers. I'm involved in providing advice and consulting services to a variety of businesses in Canada for the last about 2 decades. And the area of expertise is from startups to small and medium enterprises looking for expansion, for growth, for collaboration, for joint ventures. Be it realm of operational excellence or profit maximization, or be it startups in terms of securing financing, project related ideas, seeking collaborations. So whole spectrum of services that are being provided by my consulting firm, Canada Wide Financial Corporation.
That's excellent, Mr. Goyal. That's a very credentialable introduction and experience. So I'll ask Mr. Jain to say a few words about him.
Thank you, Sudhirji. Good morning, all the viewers. My name is Dharma Jain. I am a practicing CPA. I am CA from India, CPA from US and Canada. Have 30 plus years accounting and tax experience. Out of 30 plus years, I have almost 26 plus years practicing experience. I practiced in India in public accounting for almost 10 plus years, and for last 16 plus years I have been practicing here in Canada. I am founder and principal consultant of DP Jain Professional Corporation, a CPA firm. I have been engaged providing consulting to small and medium size of businesses. My services range right from startup business to company incorporations, corporate businesses, corporate tax, business financing, filing tax returns and tax compliance. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Jain. Again, it's a very effective and credible introduction. So I'll ask you, Mr. Jain, the first question. The first and foremost, who is the business consultant, and why do any business or enterprise need a consultant?
Very important question, Sudhirji. Well, when we talk about the consultant, in my opinion, a consultant is a person who has some sort of credentials, certification or licensing, who is regulated and who has an expert knowledge in a subject field. This subject field could be anything. When we talk about the businesses, a business mostly requires two types of consultants. One, the consultant who have the inherent knowledge, technical knowledge about the business. Those are the experts who have particular industry per se or the business per se the knowledge, and there are other category of consultants who have a different kind of expert knowledge in different fields, such as the lawyers, accountants, tax experts, business consultants, bankers. So as I told just now, the consultant includes all kind of people who have certification, license and expert knowledge in a particular field.
Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, you can even send us an email, info@weeklyverse.com. We'll be sending this information to both these gentlemen to seek any answers you need, or you can call 905-795-0639. Another question to Pramod ji. We understand that role of a business consultant is very important of any business. What would you say the potential benefit of hiring a consultant?
Again, very valid question, Sudhir ji. And I think everybody would ask, why should or why would I need a consultant, or why should I hire or engage a consultant? So basically, as Mr. Jain was mentioning, a consultant is one who would bring in expert knowledge and advice to a prospective businessman or an existing businessman. So they have vast experience dealing with different clienteles, different industry segments. So they can definitely bring vast knowledge, invaluable knowledge and advice. They can think out of the box, and I would say to a large extent, I mean, the decision making is more objective rather than an entrepreneur or a businessman taking decisions based on his emotional state of mind and particular situation, not necessarily based out of 100% logic and objective manner of thinking. They could also seek different angles to look at a solution for a specific problem, and the solutions could be customizable. It's not like one size fits all. So the experts can bring in a lot of value to a business and help resolve different aspects of any situation that they might be facing.
And there may be several regulations through the various governments, which they may know those regulations which can be implemented and support that particular business.
For sure, yes.
Definitely.
I mean, a lot of businesses are subject to regulatory requirements and compliances.
Yes.
So of course that could be one critical area as well.
Jainji, can you please provide an example of a particular kind of business and different advisors that this business may possibly need?
Very valid and genuine question, Sudhirji. Well, whenever a idea of starting a business conceived in the mind of any potential entrepreneur, well, right from that idea conceived, one may look for different kind of consultants and business advisors. Just for example, since you asked me to give an example, so let's take a say food manufacturing business. If this idea conceived, then right from that stage, this potential entrepreneur may seek the advice of different advisors. These advisors could be, say, the technocrats, the one who knows about the particular food industry this entrepreneur want to go in. Then what kind of industry, the product selections. Then if this entrepreneur want to start buying their own, constructing their own building, then the land area, what kind of land is needed, what size of business building is required, is there any building codes are required, that particular area to approach to the potential vendors, potential customers, whether the building is needed from a dense residential area or industrial area. If this is just a manufacturing facility, then maybe you need to go isolated area which is little far from the city where your cost of setup could be less. Then you need the different construction guys. They can build the building, they can design the building, maybe you need an architect. Right from that area, you have to look at the project cost, and you require a consultant or business advisor who can help you secure financing. What kind of financing is available, which kind of lenders are available, what could be cost of financing. Then there may be certain government grants, certain subsidies. Then maybe the tax laws, what kind of tax laws you could look at. It could be direct taxes or indirect taxes. Then you need an accountant who can look at your business financials and your other tax matters. There could be some environmental issues. You need a consultant who can look into all these environmental requirements. There could be insurance guys, what kind of business insurance or liability insurance or other product insurance you require. So, right from the stage, as I told you, there could be some technical industry specific consultants or other general consultants. It could be a lawyer, it could be an insurance person, it could be a banker, it could be an accountant, it could be a business advisor, it may be a building contractor.
Yeah,
So, well, list is endless. It all depends. As Mr. Goel told, one side doesn't fit to all. It's industry to industry, business to business. But definitely a business seeks the advice from different kind of professionals and advisors.
Wow, this is something, you need so many people. So I'll ask Pramodji, that means business needs several individuals and different needs, which addresses the different needs. That would also means dealing with several people and the associated cost and the consequences of dealing with them and the time factor. What do you have to say?
No, I mean, that's right. I mean, while depending on the size and nature of business, you might have to deal with a lot of people. But again, I mean, when it comes to, looking to engage an advisor or consultant, one thing that a business could look at is the scope and size of what kind of advice that particular consultant can, provide in terms of, the scope, the breadth of services. So one particular consultant might be able to provide inputs on several of these areas based on their experience and caliber. And they could also be working out of a team environment. So they might have already resources in-house or within their team. So a prospective business or entrepreneur can deal with, a consultant who can provide these services or most of these services through a single source, rather than having to deal with, several individuals and look for different individuals at different times. And as you said, I mean, the related cost could be higher depending on what the need is. So I think ideally there could be consulting firms or consultants who could address quite a few of those areas within a single setup. So I think they would be preferable from a relationship standpoint.
Thank you. So this question will go to both of you, right? So I'll ask Pramodji first. The kind of the quality one should be looking for before having or decide on the specific consultant, or it is the one consultant which can provide all those consultants within that group, within that company, the need of the industry.
Definitely, Sudhirji. I mean, I think there are quite a few things one has to look at. Even if, say, for example, we are looking to, say, if we have a medical issue, what would ideally be the concern? Not a general, I mean, something, say, of some sequence or consequence. So you would always look for a specialist rather than going to a general practitioner or whatever. So similarly, when you're selecting a consultant, you need to look at the specialization or the expertise of that individual, what credentials they bring, what is their background. And one can always look at the past history of an individual. Nowadays we have all kind of tools available online. So you can always research and find out who has a past record, credentials of doing certain things and what extent, what is their history. So of course, educational qualifications, experience, past track record, expertise.
Yeah.
So those are key things that one should be looking at while selecting or engaging any consultant.
And
Well, Pramodji has very, succinctly decided it and made his comments. I want to add some more to this. Well, while selecting any business advisor and consultant, the client or the business owner should look at the credentials, license. If the consultant needs to be regulated, then the consultant is regulated. There is a regulatory body. Consultant has that kind of certification or designation. Moreover, the referral, they should also look at the referrals, the expertise, their presence in different forums or regulatory bodies. And as Pramodji told, well, there are tools available, there are websites available. There are websites which regulates different professionals. They can go and check whether this particular consultant who is offering that particular services is licensed. There is no issues, he is not subject to any disciplinary actions. So definitely, well, there are so many other factors which one can look at. Definitely they should look at as their license, their credentials and their presence, and moreover they are not subject to any disciplinary actions.
As we all know, if we talk about the current date where the pandemic has actually made huge effect or impact on the economy of the country, of the city, and individual companies and individual people as well, right? So this time when people are seeking some kind of a help in terms of those particular consultant to engage with to get maybe a government funding, or maybe having some kind of bank loans or some kind of other guidance to streamline their businesses or their individual life. Again, since the pandemic, as what we know, Doug Ford, our Premier of Ontario, has declared that by Thursday those mandate of the pandemic will be over. So it will be as normal as it was before the pandemic, right? So how you can help those companies or individual people in any of those requirements, as what I said?
Definitely, I mean, a lot of businesses have suffered during the last almost 2 years now because of COVID, and some of them unfortunately had to wind down or close down. So they might be looking to reopen, re-establish, and a lot of people who have been struggling, they also want to normalize their operations. So, and I'm sure everybody got I shouldn't say everybody, most of them got hit financially. So that's a key area there. They are also having challenges with staffing and employment. So in terms of financing, as you referred to, in terms of whether it is coming from some banking support for working capital support, or from certain schemes that were launched by the provincial or the federal government to assist businesses. So definitely, I mean, people are welcome. They can always contact us directly also, and we can advise them what options are available depending on their situation and what could be done. And if they need any further assistance in terms of holding their hand and doing something specifically for any particular business, that of course we can assist with.
Sure, definitely. Well, there's the mandate. It goes with the years of working experience, working and dealing with multiple businesses in different sectors. We have the expertise, we have the knowledge within our own setup where I can handle them. We can look at the existing support systems or support schemes which are launched by both the governments, federal and provincial, as well as there could be some traditional ways where most of the business banks, they are available to help them. And since the scenario changed, most of the businesses, they have to come back to their own foot, they have to revive. We can look at out of box and non-traditional ways how we can help them. But having said that, yes, all sort of expertise available, and we can help businesses succeed in their objectives.
Thank you, Pramodji, thank you, Jain Sahab. Last but not the least, I'll ask one question. If you want to share your contact information with the viewers, if they want to call you or contact you through email. So if you can please say that.
Sure. Anybody can contact me on our office numbers, which is 647-699-9890. And I would also like Sujiji put our emails through at the end of the session through a screen, so that there is no error for anybody who is trying to contact us, or they can always visit our website at canadawidefinancial.ca.
Well, definitely my office number is 905-790-9327, and at the same time your viewers can visit my website, that is dpjaincpa.com.
Thank you very much, Pramodji and Jainji. It was a nice session where you have given a very useful information to our viewers and listeners and the people those are in need of any kind of help, guidance or consultation. So we'll end this session today. We'll come back again next Tuesday with a new session which may even help you in your taxations and some other things. So thank you very much. Signing off, Sudhir Anand from VN in Canada. Goodbye.
And that's it in today's episode of the Weekly Show. We would love to hear your thoughts on the show, so type in the comments section and tell us what you think. You can follow us on our social media handles, and if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe us so that you can get all the updates. Thanks for watching.